Start.
Hi, I'm Zoravar Purohit. I'm a diving instructor, a scuba diving instructor, currently based out of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. I majorly work on Havelock Island and I've been there since 2012. So far, I have about 3,500 plus dives, and I have taught about 500 people, certified about 500 divers domestically and internationally.
So how did you get into diving? Just tell me from the point when you started off, like you were saying about Venki. So just give me that part, your journey into diving.
So my journey began just like everyone else's. I'm a city guy to begin with. I did my graduation from Venki Sri Venkateshwara College, Delhi University, and having done political science honors, I took up a job in the city as an analyst and developer. And this involved getting stuck in the traffic jam and getting my head around the usual race that the city brings with it. And fortunately for me, very quickly I realized that this is not my cup of tea. I can do it, but I don't want to. And I started looking for other options, primarily adventure sports. My father being from the army, I was exposed to outdoors extensively. So I looked at scuba diving, skydiving, and a couple of other avenues. Somehow scuba diving fit the bill because it wasn't very capital intensive. I also happened to have learned that a great diving facility exists within our country, and a great diving destination is coming up that I mentioned, Andaman Islands. So I decided to take the plunge and dive right into it, as the industry says. I went for a vacation to do basic and advanced course, and ended up staying there for 10 months and coming home as a dive master, which is the entry level pro rating in this industry. And the journey continued. I became an instructor beyond that, and now I'm here 9 years later, still teaching and doing a couple of things around it.
Okay. So let's say someone wants to become a diver, a dive instructor or a dive consultant. So can you tell us what all stages are there to becoming one? And what are the various avenues that one has? Like you said, you're a consultant now, but before that you were an instructor.
Correct.
So just take us through the whole process.
So wonderful. This is something I get asked often, and I would love to share this in a little detail. How to become a diving instructor and how to get into the industry. So swimming is a prerequisite. There's a very common question that people have, and a lot of people have an inhibition because their swimming skill is either not adequate or is not present. So first of all, I would like to mention that yes, you need to know how to swim, but that is something that professionals like myself or professional dive centers all over the world are happy to teach you. To make you comfortable in water is part of the industry. So this should not be a limiting factor. In fact, I'll go a step further and say that we don't have any great eligibility requirements in terms of having a particular physique or a particular qualification. If you are 18 plus, and if you can read and write, and if you have basic fitness, everything else can be taught to you by the industry. So this should not limit anybody. Having acquired the basic prerequisite of knowing how to swim, and you don't need to be Michael Phelps, you just need to be comfortable in water. You can start off with something called the open water course, which is called the gateway course in the diving industry. This essentially gives you 4 dives and a maximum depth certification of 18 meters. And after you have acquired the open water certificate in 4 days, merely 4 days, you can pretty much go anywhere in the world and show your diving license and dive. However, this is the recreational side of diving. You are a certified diver now, but you're not a professional diver. To become a professional diver, you do multiple courses ahead of open water. I'll not get into the details, but all the data is available online on websites like PADI and SSI. You reach a rating called rescue diver. It is only post rescue diver that you can enroll yourself in a dive master internship program. This program is available everywhere in the world, in every dive center, in every dive friendly destination. Once you enroll in the dive master internship, you are essentially taken through the back end of a dive center. How to acquire the customer, how to take care of the equipment, and how to take care of your divers underwater. And the most important thing, which is showing them cool marine life. And you can only show things to people once you know how to find them yourself. And once you're a dive master, you're at the baseline of professional ratings in the dive industry. From there on, you can become an instructor, a master instructor, a specialty instructor, a videographer, a researcher, a marine biologist, and the list goes on. Yeah.
So what is the kind of investment one is looking at to hit the baseline? And also what is the kind of remuneration one can expect? So investment in terms of, let's say I want to become
Correct.
Start earning from
Correct,
this.
correct.
So what is the kind of investment and the time frame I'm looking at? And once I hit that level, how do I start earning? Like what are the options available?
So, well, investment and remunerations work for people who are convinced that they want to get into the professional side of the industry. Obviously, the basic courses cost you in India anywhere around 40 to 50,000. The ones that limit you to recreational diving certifications, which is the basic open water course I mentioned. And getting all the way up to rescue diver would cost you somewhere between 70,000 to a lakh, depending on the destination and the dive center that you're diving with. We are talking obviously in rupees. Now, to become a professional dive master, you're going to look at spending another lakh and a half to get the dive master rating beyond your rescue course. That brings the total to about 2.5 if you're doing a fun module that we call zero to hero. So if you're going from zero to hero, becoming a dive master, you're looking at about 2.5 lakh of investment. Having done a few dives or worked for a few seasons as a dive master, you're able to earn enough to enroll in the instructor course. The instructor course costs another 2.5, 3 lakh. And having spent this amount and this time acquiring all the necessary skills and the necessary ratings to call yourself a diving instructor, you can look at a starting remuneration in a great dive center in India anywhere between 60,000 to 80,000 rupees. As you progress, as you start taking on more intricate managerial roles of designing the boat roster, making sure you have control over the equipment and other dive staff, and as you start teaching incoming dive masters, you get a cut and commission and an agreement with your dive center that can increase your earning potential. So yes, it is possible to reach up to lakh and a half with a few years of experience and impeccable diving and teaching.
Just a few more questions. What is the best part about your job?
The best part about my job is obviously being underwater. It's a absolutely new environment. It's a new world, as most people tell us. And what touches one the most is that when you surface from a dive and you breach the surface and you're back above, the first thing most divers that you were leading underwater will say is, man, I think you have the best job in the world. So I think that feels even better than the money or anything else that the industry provides.
Looking at the current scenario, what is the future for dive instructors across the globe according to you?
Well, in our PADI videos, we have this line that starts, in your basic open water course, if you choose to do it, that the planet is incorrectly named. Earth is a minority on this planet and the majority of it is the ocean. And it's a fun fact that everyone knows that we've discovered less of the ocean than we have of the human mind and the space. So obviously the scope is humongous, it's massive. Just as a tourism factor, as a recreational industry, India has grown substantially in the past 5-10 years. There were say 10 instructors coming out of India 10 years ago. As of today, there are at least 100 instructors coming out each year within India. So is the customer volume. There is a rising trend within India wherein people are wanting to spend on experiences, on sports, on outdoors, and tourism overall is a substantial factor in India, and the government and the people hope that this only goes up and becomes a great contributor to our GDP like Thailand does and Maldives does. So overall, I think the industry has some brilliant scope. There is great earning potential, there is great establishment potential and investment potential. Whatever you're capable of as individually, be it starting a dive center or becoming a professional diver, I think you're looking at great 10 years ahead for sure.
From here, just add that one part that, I started off as a dive instructor. and now I also run a hotel. So you know, you can. I just want you to link that.
So-
and you can mention the property. Yeah.
So to give you a little bit more about my journey, I became a diving instructor 8 years ago, and I continue to teach till date. However, it's led to some wonderful things. I in between started an adventure travel company, which did dive trips both domestically and abroad. I, as of today, run a resort and a cafe on Havelock Island, along with being a dive consultant and a diving instructor. We are an eco property. We are the only ones on this island built with recycled plastic. The resort's called Outback, and our cafe is called Cafe Saltwater. And having evolved from the cafe, which was launched about 2 years back, we are doing a good job so far, I think. Our food and reputation is known all through Andamans. I have now evolved to start another company called GoAndamans.in, which is essentially an organic travel platform run by locals from Andaman, trying to deliver the real Andaman experience, the quintessential Andaman experience, vis-a-vis the commercial itineraries and trips that are being sold by other aggregators. So I continue to teach, I continue to run the cafe and the resort, and now I'm working on the travel platform, and hopefully things keep looking better as I move further.
And finally, any advice for people who sort of want to get into it? What do you want to tell those people?
The most important advice that I can share with you, well, there's a lot of serious sounding stuff that I could share with you, but the crux of it is, if you want to dive, just dive into it, and the rest follows. We have this saying as instructors that no matter how much you discuss or teach diving out of the water, it doesn't actually lead to learning unless you are underwater. So if you want to dive or give it a shot, try something like a Discover Scuba dive. You don't need to commit yourself to an entire course. You can commit yourself to just one dive. See if this is your cup of tea. For 99% of the people I've met, after one dive, they pretty much dive for the rest of their lives. So yeah, take that first plunge and gather the right information, select a good dive center, and take it from there. I'm sure it'll work out.
Perfect. Anything you think I missed that you want to speak about? Because from my end, I've got
No,
everything.
that's
So,
absolutely
aapko kuch lag raha hai, because you've spoken about your journey, you've spoken about how to get into it.
correct.
What is the future scenario? What is the advice?
I think this is pretty good. Otherwise, there
I
is
don't want to just sort of keep